It's time for New Channel Monday, week 153. Hello lovely butterflies, welcome back again. I'm working in my Channel Monday art channel, where I'm starting with a layer of gesso, which I applied in a thin and very irregular way. For my second layer, I'm diluting some phthalo turquoise fluid acrylic from DecoArt, and I'm also adding some teal to have some different accents. And now I can simply swipe my journal through the paint. I took out two of my stencils and I want to go with the Honeycomb pattern. So I'm going to start with the one that has the biggest opening because I want to apply clear modeling paste. And as it is the first time that I'm using them, I'm indicating which side is supposed to go up so that I don't have too much medium going underneath the stencil. I left it aside to dry by itself, and once dry I came back to it so that I could go in with my Inktense pencil, which is a water-soluble one. Just scribbling around and then going over it with water to dilute it and to blend it into the background. I still wanted to accentuate the color a little bit more around the modeling paste, so I came back in with Distress ink, just using a blending tool and applying it on the paper. I can now add some more accents using my Driving Me Circles stencil, again going back in with Distress ink and really pushing the ink through the openings of the stencil. I want to add some rust contrast, so I'm using quinacridone gold, in a watercolor way just by diluting it with water. And then dabbing away the edge of the paint so that I don't have any harsh lines. And again, to accentuate those colors, I'm going back in with Distress ink, with the Rusty Hinge one, just to make the rust look like real rust. the rust color was a little bit too striking to my liking compared to the rest of the background. So I decided to go back in with Peacock Feather, I had to think for a moment, with Peacock Feather Distress ink to lighten up the blue of the background again. Using that same Peacock Feather Distress ink, I'm going in using my Sinuosity stamp set. This is one of the scribbled circles, and then just stamping randomly on the background. From that same stamp set, this is my all-time favorite stamp. It's again one of those series of numbers, which is very, very small, but which you can stamp like just about anywhere. And I'm stamping it with that same rusty color to have a repeat of what I already have going on. Next up, again, some more phthalo turquoise fluid acrylic to add some splatters. And every time you see my hands move in strange ways like now, it's because I'm explaining stuff to my patrons. So if you want to have the full-blown version of this video where I talk while I'm working, check out my Patreon page. You can find the link in the description of this video. And this video today is 16 minutes long. The Patreon version of this one is 40 minutes long. So I used the same Inktense pencil again, and then diluting it with some water to blend it into the background. I'm playing with the resist of the gesso that I have in the background, so to really accentuate that difference in absorbency from the paper. I still want some more accents in that blue of the background, so I'm going back in again with Distress ink, just building up layers until I have the contrasts that I want to have. And because I have gesso in the background, I can use a baby wipe to accentuate that difference in absorbency even more, because I've been working with all water reactive products. Going in with the baby wipe will lift the ink or not, except for that first layer of blue that I applied, because it's fluid acrylic, so that will not move anymore. These are my Butterfly Whispers mixed media stickers, and I want to use one of those to add a focal point. Now I do want to run this through my sewing machine, so I need to give my sticker a little bit more support. So I'm sticking it to a piece of cardstock and then giving it a background of cambric. And because I love cambric so much, I'm going to layer my cambric. To make my cambric look like real rusted cambric, I'm not only using fluid acrylic, I'm also adding a little bit of primary elements from Luminarte, and that will give it that rusty shine. So first I sprayed water on my cambric to make sure that the color would spread nicely, and then I'm spraying some more water to make sure that it's nicely blended. Doesn't that rusted cambric looks like a scrumptious something? I just cannot get enough of this. It's like I want to have it everywhere. So I'm picking the piece that I want to use for now, just trimming a little strip of it, and then of course I'm keeping the rest for another project. So the cool thing of cambric is that you can distress it, like seriously distress it, and it will still keep its shape. Unlike gauze, gauze will completely fall apart, cambric won't. Before building up my focal point, I'm adding some distress ink on the edge of the sticker to take off the white edge. And I already know that little something that I want to add, so stay tuned until the very end of the video, you'll see. Going back in with the Sinuosity stamp set, again with distress ink, and adding some more stamping here and there, and then lifting the ink just to keep it soft and in the background. One of the cool features of my How Shall I Put It stamp set are these splatter stamps. They're eeny, meeny, tiny. So if you don't want to cut them up, I like to cut all my stamps separately. But when you get the sheet of stamps, of course, you can keep them together so that you don't lose any. I like to cut them up so that I can assemble them and stamp them in the shape that I want. So this allows me to add some very controlled splatters. Adding some black thread behind my focal point, just to make it stand out a bit more from the background. And then to frame my spread, I'm using just some distress ink and just going all the way around the edges of the paper. I don't like how regular and square the distress ink looks, so I just use a baby wipe to lift some of the ink and to move the ink around. I did run my focal point through my sewing machine, and now I want to add some more of my Butterfly Whispers mixed media stickers. So these are the word stickers. And they're pretty cool because you can go over them with whatever it is you want. These are really mixed media stickers, so you can paint them, you can colorize them, whatever it is you want to inflict on them, they will take it. I'm going in with the outline pencil from the Inktense set. This is not a water-soluble one, so I need a blending stump to move the color around. And then to soften that as well, I'm going in with a kneadable eraser, which is about the only thing you can use to erase this kind of pencil. I still want to lift my page a little bit, add some lighter accents to it, so I'm adding some white splatters using fluid acrylic. And when you're done with that, you need to clean about your whole table because you have splatters everywhere. And then using some more fluid acrylic and my palette knife, I'm adding some more accents around the edge to frame the spread even more. I had a lot to explain that day, clearly. So I was in great need of circles, so I took out my small circle stencil and just using a Unipen pen, I'm tracing them in a doodling way. So I'm moving my stencil around and tracing that same circle several times so that it doesn't look too regular. My Perfect Word stamp set has one of those number series as well, so I'm combining both to have several series of numbers next to one another, and this time I'm stamping it with just black archival ink. Yeah, sometimes you need to take a moment to ponder. Going back in again with the Sinuosity stamp set. So over the circles that I traced with my stencil, I'm using different sizes of the Sinuosity stamp set to stamp again and to add some written doodling on those scribbled circles. This is one of the Rock and Rust stamps, and I'm using it to stamp on the wording to give it some more interest. And because these are mixed media stickers, I decided to give them some color. So I'm going in with one of the Inktense pencils and then blending the color with water. And no, my stickers are not moving, and that's why I like them. The outside edge of the words were missing some colors, so I'm using the blue Inktense pencil, the same one that I used at the beginning to enhance the modeling paste, and I'm using that to go around the words, just to give it some more shading. My cambric did not want to stick to the paper that day. I felt like adding some real rust, so I took out one of my home rusted paper clips, and you can find my rusting recipe on my website. I will add the link in the description of this video to the tutorial for the rusting. Again, some more of the Sinuosity stamp set. So I'm mixing two colors of distress ink so that it doesn't look just like sitting next to one another, so that it's already mixing on the stamp before stamping on the paper. And I wanted to add some more words. I had a lot to say as well. I wanted to add some more sewing to really accentuate that black on the focal point, so that's what I did. And then of course I have to give that last piece of wording the same treatment as I gave the rest. So going back in with the blue pencil and adding some shading around that little word. It felt like my elements were floating away from one another, so I wanted to make them come together. I went back in with my circle stencil and my Unipen pen and doodled some more circles just to attach the different elements to one another. And then adding some more of that black accent, just like I did around the frame. I just need to doodle one more circle, but my focal element is not completely finished. Wait for the photos to see what happens. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click on the little bell to receive notifications of new videos, and I will see you here back next Monday for a new one. Ta-da!